Alright, I'm here, Taking care of some things. Whoever gave me the 2 likes, I really appreciate that. Alright, cool. Trying to get started. Just doing the... Alright, cool, I got it pulled up. I think we're good. Yo, what's up, are you? How you doing, man? Everything's looking good. Making it? I feel you, dude. I just woke up like 3 hours ago. I was up till like 11 a.m. Actually, I was up later than that. Trying to take care of some stuff with school. I'm trying to register for the spring semester. Yeah, I'm a pilot. I'm like 13 credits away from having my aeronautical science degree. I just gotta finish all the flight courses. Yeah, it's nice, but I've been in school for like 6 years because COVID really fucked my life up, and it's been pretty difficult. Liberty University. I transferred from a college called Laterno, so a Christian university. So I transferred to Liberty because I could do everything else online, and they have like satellite flight schools, so I could go to a flight school back home, but also still get my degree. But right now the problem is finding money to finish the courses because my GI Bill ran out. So actually, I got my BA right before COVID started, so it was lucky. Yeah, you see, I had just finished all my prereqs and had gotten into the Christian University to start flight courses literally the month COVID hit. So that had just happened. I was about to start flying, and then the pandemic starts. And my life has been fucked ever since. So I've had to take 2 years off because I couldn't afford it. The prices skyrocketed. It was very difficult to find money, and yeah. But I got my pilot's license. I did the instrument courses. I just have to do all my commercial, and there we go. Right at the end of 2019. Yeah, see, I got out the Navy at 2018, and then went straight to college. You'll get there. Yeah. I'm not... It sucks, dude. At this rate, I'll probably be flying as a full pilot when I'm like 32. But maybe 33, which sucks. Because if COVID had never happened, I would be in the airlines already. So my original plan was to go back into the Navy. I wanted to go fly P-8s, the Poseidon. But given the way the military ended up, I started leaning against it. Now there's still a window that I could go back. It would depend highly on how much work Trump does to fix the issues in the military. I would go back if he fixes the issues, but that's a long ways away. So the P-8, so really the 737 is what I want to fly. That's my dream plane. Well, not my dream plane, but like as far as realistically. But Really, at this rate, I'll fly anything, bro. I'll fly anything. Just give me a plane, dude. But the 737 realistically is what I want, the P8. But if I can't get that, then whatever they want to get me. I'll probably end up flying a CRJ at some point. That'll probably end up what happens. That's usually what happens. But my ultimate dream would be go private and, you know, fly some smaller private airplanes, but it's a lot harder to get into. But we'll see. We'll see. Now, if I can finally get this degree and get into a good airline, then I'll probably make another YouTube channel centered around that. So I can... The problem with doing heavy politics on YouTube is that's why I'm not using my real name, with the hopes that, because I'm not big or anything, I don't want airlines to see what I talk about. So I'm trying to keep that on the low a little bit until I can't. Well, if I get enough money one day, I will hire you. Are you you looking for a private pilot, bro? I'll fly for you, dude. I'll fly for anybody at this. I'll fly for Hillary Clinton. If Hillary Clinton needs a private pilot, I'll fly for her. I just want to fly, dude. I want to fly so bad, man. I miss it. If the lottos hit. Dude, I mean, if the lottos hit for me, then I ain't worried about getting a career in flying. I'll just fly for fun. That's what I really want. I want to fly for fun. I don't even want to fly as a career. But it costs money to fly for fun, so career it is. My dream would be that I somehow hit the big time and I could just fly for fun like Jimmy Graham does. But that's a long shot. I'm trying to find a picture for you of oops. Didn't mean to do that. There's a picture of me in a Cessna. So that was I was flying my brother that day. This was the day after I got my pilot's license. So I miss it, dude. I haven't flown in a year, and it really sucks. It's $400 almost an hour for flight courses right now. I mean, $400 an hour is just crippling, dude. But anyways, we're here. I guess we're gonna start off with the Steve Bannon. I haven't got to watch his speech at Amfest yet, so let's do it. I think everything else is running. That's good. Cool. Enough talking about me. It's gonna make me sad. I need to change it to my headphones. Alright. Why is it my headphones?
Yo!
Oh, I think my headphones may have gone out.
There's more
That's not good.
convicts here than in Danbury Federal Prison.
Hold up, we got a problem. Damn it. Yep, I think my headphones finally went out. I gotta get a new cable for it. Nope, there we go. We're back.
You insurrectionists.
I can't hear Like, the sound is working when I mess with it, but I can't hear the audio for some reason.
Listen.
Can you hear the audio?
Capital couldn't steal a bunch of racist and
I don't know why I can't hear it. Yeah, this ain't making any sense, dude. If you can hear the audio, I don't know why I can't. That's not making any sense.
insurrection.
Here, let me try to put in my my Bluetooth. I'll try to use my Bluetooth earbuds, I guess. Yeah, this don't make any sense, dude. All right, it's connected.
Okay,
now I hear it.
In the Imperial Capitol a few moments ago, we had the first defeat that we've had in a long time, right? You know why? The political class is infected with a malignant cancer. That cancer is bipartisanship, right? You guys remember we met last year. It was before President Trump. It was before the primary, before the general election, before any of these victories came. And all the pundits saying Donald Trump can't win. He can't win the primary. Donald Trump doesn't compromise. All of his followers are a bunch of racist and fascist ne'er-do-wells. What happened in the primary? Trump ran the table, correct? Was there any bipartisanship in Scott
Steve Bannon going to come out and talk like a preacher?
For the last 4 years and changing the makeup of the electorate in Pennsylvania or in Arizona? Was there any? No. Was there any of you guys going door to door as canvassing and get out the vote for President Trump? Was that bipartisan? It was not. It was highly partisan. Was there anything about the election integrity of folks going in and doing the hard work and sitting around the table and making sure they couldn't steal the 2024 election like they stole the 2020 election? Was there any compromise at all in anything that you all did? No, there was not. It was
Scott
zero.
Pressler is the thing.
Let's go back in time. When they stole the 2020 election, President Trump left the Imperial Capitol, came to Mar-a-Lago, and they said, every pundit said, you'll never see Trump in politics again. Trump is finished. Trump is a spent force. The MAGA movement was just a blip, right? It was there for 4 years.
Yeah, they said he would never win 2016 either.
Hillary Clinton. And what happened? Right, his polling was down. The only people that went down and saw him from the political class were people to make sure the lion was still in the cage. He had no support except from you. You guys refused to back off. Think about the journey you have been on with President Trump since the election was stolen. Everybody consistently told you that, all the pundits on Fox and MSNBC and CNN, consistently, Trump can't win. Trump's a loser. Trump's people are
Arguably, the win is more
the
sweeter now than it would have
him.
been in 2020.
Right? Think of the moral courage President Trump had to come back. It is the most more, Kennedy wrote a book, Profiles in Courage. That is nothing. You read all the examples. They pale in comparison to Trump. President Trump, when he's back in Mar-a-Lago, when he made the conscious decision not to sit there and just enjoy his grandchildren, enjoy the golf courses, enjoy the empire he built, his wife and the great
don't have
family,
to be here.
He made a conscious decision that this story is not over, that what they had done is stolen an election, and what they were prepared to do to the country was pure evil.
Steve Bannon spitting facts.
He knew what was ahead of him. He knew they were going to try to bankrupt him. He knew that they were going to try to destroy his family. He knew that they were going to come after him with lawfare and try to put him in prison. All of that he understood when he made the decision that he would return. He would return and defeat them, win the primary against the Republican Party, and then defeat Joe Biden or whoever the puppets were, the puppet masters in back of Joe Biden. that single act of doing it was the single greatest act of political courage in the history of the country. Now, why did he do it? Because he knew he had you as his back. You had his back. You're the foundational element of this movement. You are the vanguard of a revolutionary movement. Every revolution has had folks like you. The American Revolution had it. That's who you are. You just delivered the greatest comeback, not just in the history of the country, but the greatest comeback in all political history.
Yep, like I said, it's sweeter now than it would have been in 2020.
Do you understand your power? Do you understand it? I don't think so. You know who understands it? Wall Street understands it. The titans in Silicon Valley understand it. The political class in Washington, D.C. understand it, because every day they plot to defeat President Trump and therefore to defeat you. Look at what happened in the last 48, 72 hours. You know, President Trump wins. He's on a roll. He's on a roll. He's treated like the President of the United States. You know why they treat him like that since the victory? Because they understand that Joe Biden is illegitimate imposter.
Yep. And Trump's legitimate. Exactly.
Never in American history, never in American history has any president-elect been treated like Donald Trump on the international stage and by the American people, because the American people understand that Biden is an imposter. They understand now that he stole the 2020
And don't forget,
election.
they put this man in prison, dude.
President Trump goes to Notre Dame, and he's treated like Charlemagne. He looks like Charlemagne when he walks in, like a king, like a leader. You see those little munchkins? You see the little munchkins, Macron and the wife, and
he called them munchkins.
Jill Biden, Dr. Jill Biden. By the way, I wish any of my 3 ex-wives gave me the look that Joe Biden gave Trump.
I was literally pulling it up right now.
Come on, right? What's the over and under she voted for him? You know it happened. Look how they received him. Look how they're receiving him everywhere. Look at Army, Navy. The midshipmen and the cadet corps of cadets is not supposed to act like that. Look at it. I've never seen intensity of love of a commander-in-chief. You know why? They consider him the commander-in-chief, not Biden.
There you go.
And why is that? Because of you. They understand, and as our message gets out, remember last year, people were doubting, had no earthly idea if he could do this. You didn't. And look at the message that you brought out. Going door to door. President Trump at the rallies. Right? Look at the coalition we've put together. African Americans have voted overwhelmingly for President Trump. Part of that is the moral courage. But then at Butler, you merge moral courage with physical courage. You have a unique leader in this country's history we haven't had. President Trump, I just said, President Trump's not particularly churchy, right? But I was there in 2016 when we were down by 12 points with 100 days.
I don't want him to be overly churchy.
Divine providence works through Donald Trump as its instrument.
And I'm a Christian.
Do you understand the odds against Trump winning in 2024 of what they did? You understand the long odds of this? It's like 1 billion to 1. Go back and look at all the pundits. They dismissed it. They laughed at it. And then we have a victory. You got Notre Dame. You got President Trump going to the New York Stock Exchange. Look at the photo on Time Magazine, the
Trudeau.
power shot of him up there, right?
He's even fixing Canada.
He rings the bell. The animal spirits have been unleashed. Corporate America and the entrepreneurs say, yes, we finally got a guy back here who they fought every step of the way. Now they're all down there like little supplicants. Here's my $1 million check, right? In Mar-a-Lago. And then we get to Washington, D.C., the imperial capital. And it's not about any one person. Clearly, Johnson's not up to the task. He's got to go, right? He's got to go. Should Johnson be Speaker of the House? President Trump, these are your people. It's not just Johnson. Clearly, he has to go. He doesn't have that. He doesn't have what we call the right stuff, right? That
Yep.
combination of guts.
Mike
and
Johnson
moxie
has
and
to go,
savvy and toughness.
and he's my representative.
What is the strength of our movement? It's resilience. What does Trump admire most? It's resilience. You can punch MAGA in the face, and they're going to get up off the canvas, and they're going to punch you back 3 times harder. This is what we've done. Johnson goes to the UFC fights, right? He's on the plane. He's walking in the UFC.
He went to
fight,
one UFC
right?
fight. I'm a major
President
UFC
Trump shows
fan.
up the
He went
UFC
to
fights.
one fight.
It's like the Roman Coliseum. I mean, this thing explodes, right? I mean, it's
He was like a little
unbelievable.
puppy
He's there.
dog.
He's at the Army-Navy game, hanging in the box. He's always around. He's down Mar-a-Lago. Did he ever mention to President Trump?
Please don't get rid of me, Trump.
Vivek? Did he ever mention to Elon? It's 1,500 pages of sellout to Hakeem Jeffries.
Bannon with the fire.
He just stands up in the Capitol a few minutes ago and goes, well, you know, we negotiated this on bipartisan. There's nothing to negotiate.
It's a good point. Why are we the ones negotiating with these people when we have the popular mandate and we have all the negotiation power? Makes no sense.
We don't need partisanship now. We need hyper-partisanship now. The conversation is over. President Trump came back from the political dead.
We have the mandate.
And on the shoulders
We have
of
all
the
the
most
power.
powerful populist movement in the history of the world, brought in
Or the leverage.
every demographic, every ethnicity, every gender, in every part of the country, and won a landslide victory. All the battleground states, every demographic, and the popular vote. We have nothing else to discuss. It's only about the execution of President Trump's plan.
Boom. He's on fire right now.
On his nominees, right? You've got. Well, first off, we should have never backed off of Matt Gaetz, right? Matt Gaetz is a hammer. Matt Gaetz is going to go in the Justice Department and clean that rat's nest out. And then Matt Gaetz is going to turn the guns, metaphorically, right, on the J6 committee, right, on Capitol Hill, and particularly on the Biden regime, the Biden administration. You guys are right about everything. You're mocked and ridiculed all the time. Remember, oh, they're not an illegitimate regime. No, they won. The New York Times and Wall Street Journal in the last 48 hours have published 2 stories that say Biden never really ran the government, right? He had all these other people that don't even know who made these decisions. It's a complete puppet. Everything we've been saying from the beginning, and if he was an actual commander-in-chief, and you saw this when he went to Saudi Arabia, did he have the troops out when President Trump shows up? They got the red carpet. They got soldiers on both sides.
The State Department's
all
running this
snapped too,
country,
right?
not Biden.
Biden gets out of an SUV and is fist bumping some guy. They never treated him like a president of the United States because their intelligence services told them he's not a legitimate president of the United States. And now the mainstream media, 4 years after the fact, gets out that the Daily Mail aggregated the stories, and there's going to be some huge investigation. We have to go back to the beginning. We have to go back to 2020, right? It has to be out in the open. Remember, the more transparency, the more powerful we are. The first thing President Trump ought to do is declassify 5 million documents of classified information and let people see it. You'll sit there and go, "What? This is classified?" They classified the information for one reason, to keep it from you, right? Your common sense is the common sense we need in our international affairs and our national security. If you gave me the choice, I was fortunate enough to go to Harvard. I was fortunate enough to go to Goldman Sachs. And I will tell you right here, if you gave me the choice between being governed by the top 100 partners at Goldman Sachs or the top 100 partners at McKinsey or Booz Allen or Cravath or Sullivan and Cromwell, and the first 100 people that walked in here with a red ball cap, give me those 100. Because you've got more common sense. You have more empathy. You are the sovereign will of the American people. This is what you represent.
They have God.
You had no. This was all done. Pressler had no money. These organizations, the types of money, no money. You did this by grit. You did this by tenacity. You did this by resilience. It's exactly what they don't have. They stole the 20. First of all, the whole first term in 16, every day, Trump's a racist, Trump's a fascist, these are terrible people. Then they steal the 2020 election. Did you give up? Did you go back and cry? Did you turn the fetal position and suck your thumb? Hell no, you didn't. You know who's doing it. All we hear in the mainstream media is how they have to have quiet time, and they got psychologists over at the State Department patting them on the head. They're too tired. There's no resistance because they can't take it anymore. Fuck you. We're going to go win.
Hell yeah, dude. That's the energy we need, bro.
That's my inner convict that just came out.
I'm so glad he's out of prison, dude.
No. I'll be blunt. I find their weakness appalling, right? I find what they tried to do to use state power, to use the media, to use it all against Trump and all the money from Wall Street. To not just break Trump, but to break you. You couldn't have worn a red MAGA hat before out in public. You couldn't let people at work know how you voted. They tried to, they were like neo-Marxists in Russia or Nazi Germany or neo-Marxists. Think about what they try to do to your life. But underground, there were so many people who said, hey, I like Trump. And then when they started hearing the policies from you and every day, and the new ecosystem of far-right media, we don't need Fox. We don't need MSNBC or CNN, the New York Times. You don't need them. Look at where you guys have more. You are so far ahead of their knowledge. I can talk to you about any topic that is important, signal, not noise, and you guys have the information. Do you realize how few times that's happened in
Conservatives are much more informed than any liberal I know.
The hardest thing we have to do, Charlie will tell you, is to stay ahead of you guys. You take information like a sponge, then you take the actionable information, the actual information, you use your agency and you put it to work. There's never been a movement like that ever, ever. It's the reason they fear you. It's the reason what Johnson did over the last 48 hours.
Even Obama didn't have this kind of movement.
Mortal sin. You don't go to Hakeem Jeffries. Quite frankly, I don't give a damn what Hakeem Jeffries wants. I don't care what Chuck Schumer wants. These people are not relevant. What is relevant is the people that President Trump has in office, and what's relevant is the people
they have no
he
leverage.
wants in his cabinet.
Why are we negotiating with people that just lost overwhelmingly?
I don't care what they have to say about Pete Hegseth. I don't care what they have to say about Bobby Kennedy. I don't care what they have to say about Kash Patel. I do not care what they have to say about Tulsi Gabbard. President Trump took a bullet to the head, and 4 months later, won in a landslide.
Let's go.
The team he wants.
Let's go. Steve's ready for war, bro.
And what does the political class do? The political class gives 1,500 pages. And here's the thing that galls me the most. All the giveaways, biolabs in Ukraine, all this different crap, right? More stuff, you can't investigate them. But the worst thing, and to show you what kind of people they are, they think you deserve the COLA you haven't been paid in 10 years. We're reasonable people. We're reasonable people. Just put it on the front cover, and we tell you, go screw yourself, okay? The 170, if the 173 is not good enough, I got a lot of folks here that'll go hit the bed and serve their country for $173,000 plus
Let's
expenses,
go.
right? If it's not good enough, give it up.
He's talking to you, Dan Crenshaw.
And
Piece of shit.
And then you got the seething anger, shot him in the, laid in wait, shot him in the back at point blank range. Not exactly an American tradition, right? It was like Robert Ford shot Wild Bill Hickok. The worst thing that happened in the American West, or one of the worst things that ever happened. He does it. That seething anger underneath it. So what do these guys do? I don't know. They opt out of Obamacare, some of the insurance program, in the dark of night. Because this is how the political class thinks. They don't think like you. They don't think like Trump. They think in a totally different, it's all politics. It's all this irrelevant nomenclature. They never get down to the thing itself. Think about it. President Trump, there's 3 big lines of work right now. One is to stop the forever wars, right? In Ukraine, go back to our show. I said on the evening on Ukraine, you know, this thing's absurd, and they're never going to give up those Eastern-speaking territories or Crimea. We're 3 years later. Folks, there's 1 million dead and wounded Ukrainians. When I say wounded, I mean the no legs, no arms. 1 million. The Russians have 700,000, 1.7 million. And Ukraine, Eastern Ukraine's been destroyed. We've put $250 billion, $250 billion. And Biden every day is trying to send more arms, more weapons, strip our own military of everything to get it in there, right? And making it harder for President Trump to be able to negotiate. But I will tell you, when they gave Hunter Biden the pardon and they went back to 1 January 2014, that's a signal, right? They know what they did in Ukraine. They know what they had to hide in Ukraine. When we get into Ukraine and investigate and we rip the scab off of Ukraine, there's going to be some pus come out of there that's going to revolt the American people. I'm talking about the biolabs, the child trafficking, where the money went. Zelensky, to me, is a criminal. He ought to be under full investigation. And then when we find out how much he and his buddies have stolen.
Yep.
You know who agrees with us? The people of Ukraine. He's only at 16%. If they held an election today, which he hadn't held, it'd be 16%. So President Trump's got the war in the Middle East. Now you've got against, telling Trump, you didn't know what you're doing. You didn't know what you're doing. The Persians are what, a week, 2 weeks away from having nuclear-grade material to make a nuclear weapon? Didn't President Trump warn us about that? Didn't he stop that? So you got that situation. You have with the Chinese and the South China Sea.
Calling Iran the
Everything
Persians.
on this
That's
war
funny.
to stop the kinetic part of is a huge lift for President Trump, and all
Nobody
they do
does
every
that
day
anymore.
is make it worse, right? Then you look at the southern border. You know Biden's illegitimate. Who would allow into their country to organize it, initiate it, and then exacerbate it? Who would allow 12 to 15 million illegal aliens into this country? And they did it to crush the African-American and Hispanic citizens, low-skilled workers. They did it because they wanted those wages to go down to stop inflation. You notice they didn't do this to investment bankers. They didn't do this to lawyers. They didn't do it to the lobbyists in D.C. They did it to the folks in this country, the hardest working folks that could least defend themselves. This is why the message of Donald Trump is resonating. This is why we won in the Rio Grande Valley. This is why we won in South Texas. This is why Trump can get 15,000 people in South Bronx. And if they weren't stealing votes 2 at a time with handfuls at a time, he would have won New York City. He would have won the boroughs. That's part of the Trump revolution. What we've done is a realignment like 1932, like FDR. There's nothing to stop us but ourselves. So let's talk about that. The biggest issue is the financial and economic, and particularly the debt. And this is what President Trump, he's got a plan. He's got these reconciliations, but you got to line everything up. You got Treasury, you got OMB, you got the work that Vivek and Elon are going to do at Doge, right, to deconstruct the administrative state and take it down, right? Right? The bond market, the global capital markets have taken out the government of the United Kingdom in the last year. And they're about to take out the Labor government. It's taken out the government in Germany. It's taken out the government in France. It's taken out the government in Canada. I think I got pattern recognition here, right? It took out Biden. The inflation that was caused by the refinancing of his debt is why inflation didn't go away. President Trump has got to line them up. It's got to be a close-run thing. You got to be very organized and get on it. And it's going to be incredibly tough. This may be the hardest part at all. And what is Jay Powell's giving us another interest rate cut, but saying on President Trump's watch we're not going to give any, right? Janet Yellen is playing around with the balance sheet of the Treasury every day. They're playing games, whether it's the war, whether it's the debt, whether it's the border and illegal immigrants. They are playing games to make it harder for Trump. They just announced today they got 2,000 troops in Syria. How in the hell did that happen? Because they don't want Trump to be successful. In fact, they said it the other day, but when we relieved the watch in 17, we're sitting down there, we go through everywhere we are. Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Air Force, Special Forces, CIA paramilitary, 150 countries, 150,000 people. What in the hell are we doing, right? This is what President Trump's fighting against. This American empire that the framers of the Constitution, the founders of our nation, warned us about. Don't go overseas for monsters to slay, right? It's not that we don't have allies and we're a nation, we're going to have trading deals and be part of the world. We're not isolationists, but what we are not is globalists. And that's what you've got. You've got these radical globalists that have run this. What? They think because of what happened, this speed bump in the last 24 hours, they think they got Trump now. You watch. They think they got MAGA. It's far from it.
Yep.
Okay? When they say, we don't back down, okay? We don't back down, we double down, right? We don't retreat, we advance. And we don't surrender, we fight. And that is what's needed now more than ever. President Trump needs you to have his back because as hard as it's been for the last 4 years, as great as you have been, to be the vanguard, the cadre at the tip of the spear. The hardest work's ahead of us. You just saw this in the last 24 hours in D.C. They're going to chop block us every step of the way because your growth as a movement, your power as a movement, President Trump's becoming victorious and efficient and effective with Elon and all the great team he's bringing together. They understand that 2/3 to 75% of this country is MAGA. And they fear that. And they fear you. So don't back down. Double down, right? Do not retreat. We're not going to retreat. You know what we're going to do? We're going to fix bayonets and we're going to advance. Okay? Fix bayonets. This is what saved Pete Hegseth. This is what saved Kash Patel. When they tell you a guy like Pete Hegseth is not qualified, say screw yourself. He was qualified enough to fight for this country overseas. He's qualified to be in DOD and run it. When they tell you Kash Patel is not qualified, he knows more counterterrorism, more counterintelligence than any guy they got over there. When they tell you, they're on TV every night talking about blanket.
They are scared of Kash
pardons.
Patel.
They're telling you about the crimes they committed. Now they're on TV talking about blanket amnesties. Here's the amnesty they're going to get. We're going to investigate you. We're going to do it all above board, and you're going to go to prison for a long time.
Hell yeah.
Somebody said President Trump's retribution and his success is going to be the golden age and coming back and great jobs and everything. And that's true because President Trump's a kind-hearted man. President Trump's a good man. Okay? I'm not that kind-hearted and I'm not that good. I want good old-fashioned Old Testament retribution, okay? I want to go after with Mike Davis the vast criminal conspiracy that for the last 4 years
he's walking right up to the edge, bro.
Tried to imprison Donald Trump, tried to assassinate Donald Trump. That's what we're going to go after. We're going to investigate it, and we're going to put all the guilty in prison where they belong so they can never do it again. We got a huge fight in front of us, but I'd like who's on my side of the football, right? We got to have Trump's back. We got to fight every day. When in the Napoleonic Wars, they had this thing, Napoleon, very focused. And he had these, his top guys were called the Marshals of France, and there were 12 of them. Okay, and he had them in there one time. It's all confusing. And he said, hey, shut up, focus. When you set out to take Vienna. That's what we're going to do. Take the imperial capital. You guys are going to be ascendant. We're going to get President Trump's program through. And one last thing. Trump 2028. MSNBC, fuck you.
Yeah, dude. What a speech. You know he's pissed people off with that one. Yeah, what a speech. All right. For a little intermission before jumping into Tucker, which I like. I love Donald Trump Jr., but I think Tucker gave a pretty good speech. Unless you want to hear Trump Jr., I don't know. But before we do that,
our final story.
Candace Owens.
All right, guys, happy Monday from London.
You don't care? Okay. Well, I've already heard Tucker, so we might go ahead and listen to Trump Jr. Your girl, Candace, is Anti-Semite of the Year.
And it is a happy Monday indeed, because I won. I didn't expect it. I played it cool, but it's recently now been announced
She's
that it
celebrating.
is me. I am the Anti-Semite of the Year. Yeah. I was named by the watchdog group, appropriately named Stop Anti-Semitism, because apparently Jewish people everywhere are terrified when they wake up and they envision who to be terrified about. It's little old me. We've definitely got to discuss that. Also, I really want to get to Caitlin Clark because she has been...
I don't care about Caitlin Clark. But
Story, the Anti-Semite of the Year for 2024 has been revealed, and it's no other than disgraced conservative pundit Candace Owens. The so-called award is bestowed by Stop Anti-Semitism, a leading nonpartisan U.S.-based organization that combats anti-Semitism. On announcing the honor, Stop Anti-Semitism wrote that from defending Hitler's actions in Germany and mocking Jewish fears over Kanye West's anti-Semitic tweets to claiming Israel forces...
Listen, Candace has said a lot of wild shit. She never defended Hitler's actions. Never. That never happened.
Muslims into segregated quarters and insinuating Hollywood is run by sinister Jewish gangs. Owens has been rightfully crowned 2024's Anti-Semite of the Year. Following October 7th, Owens' anti-Semitism kicked into high gear as she spread conspiracy theories about Jews and Israel. This led to her removal from the Daily Wire and suspension from YouTube. She's since been denounced by evangelical leaders and even her own father-in-law. Owens was in good company alongside environmental activist turned Hamas supporter Greta Thunberg and Twitch streamer and Hamas frontman Hassan Piker. Rounding out.
I think Hassan deserves it more because Candace, like, what they just lied. I mean, like, she never defended Hitler. Hassan defends Hitler. Like, Hassan is, like, legit, like, 100% anti-Semitic, and he's proud of it and brags about it and says some pretty god-awful things about Jews. Candace, listen, she has gone down a couple rabbit holes that I wouldn't have gone down. But I mean, you know, I'm not going to say it. She's certainly not Hassan Piker. Hassan Piker is like legit, pure-blooded anti-Jew. He like legit hates him and says it openly. Candace is just pissed off a few rabbis, and that has got her. And so, you know, the way Candace is, when she goes against the grain and the grain pushes back, she doubles down, and that's just who she is. But not everything she says is false. But there have been some things, like, listen, there have been some things she went a little out there, but not everything. And I think what really pushed her over the edge to win the award for Anti-Semite of the Year was when she had that guy on, the Navy vet who was on USS Liberty, and they talked about USS Liberty. I think that is what, I think that's what did it. You can't talk about Liberty. That's a no-no. Even if you go to the Wikipedia page of USS Liberty, it's pretty much propaganda. Which, I'm a Navy vet. I'm allowed to talk about USS Liberty. It's, yeah. the official story is not accurate. But there you go. I think that's what pushed her over the edge. But that's my little intermission. Candace Owens, Anti-Semite of the Year. Congratulations. All right, now let's listen to Trump Jr. I've already heard Tucker. I was watching that when I woke up. All right.
This movement, despite the overwhelming majority of the mainstream media and big tech going against my father, the American people spoke, and they spoke loudly.
Man, I really do hate the press. I'm so glad Steve Bannon said fucking MSNBC to end this speech. What a beautiful ending.
What's going on, Arizona? Oh, it's so nice to be here after that win. What do you think? Are you guys sick of winning yet? Are we ever going to get sick of winning? And guys, I love you too, sir. It's usually better if it's a woman, but you know, whatever. It's 2024. It's fine. It's fine. Well, guys, I want to thank Steve, I guess, for that pre-endorsement for 2028. Kidding. I'm kidding.
Hell yeah. It's going to be
guys,
Vance. I wouldn't mind him being
most
VP.
For all of the incredible work that we did this last election. It's because of you that we are here. Because not only in the last few months did you all become the media, when we got actual free speech back with the help of Elon and X and Truth Social, when
Make
we
Elon House
had
Speaker.
a chance to level the playing
Here,
field,
here.
we took away the advantage that they'd been playing on us for so long. I love watching it right now. You're watching the leftist meltdown because for the first time in arguably generations, they actually have to compete on a level playing field. Their ideas have to actually make sense. And I know that's implausible. I know they're not used to it, but they're actually revolting and quitting the game because it's not just being handed to them anymore. We're actually fighting it back, and that's because of you guys. If you watch what's happened in the last few weeks, we've taken that narrative away from the media. You look at what's happening in the confirmation process when you have an awesome, great patriot like Pete Hegseth, and the swamp and the media, they want to take him out. And guess what? They were doing it until we took control of the narrative, until we made the representatives that are there to represent us actually do that. And they were cheering it. They were going to take this guy out with anonymous sources. It didn't matter that the actual people that were in the room that were willing to put their name behind it were saying, this is nonsense. They were going to do it. And then all of you got involved. And you held the swamp accountable. So not only became the government because you're able to finally hold your representatives accountable, they can't get away with it anymore, folks. You saw that in the last 48 hours when they tried jamming a 1,500-page CR down your throats with more pork than a pig farm. And in a few minutes, almost everyone knew what was in it. Far more than Congress, you're able to pick out the parts where disastrous. You're able to pick out the fraud, the bribes, the bullshit, and you were able to talk about it. And it died like that. We need to keep that up. For far too long, For far too long, people have been made to be afraid of their media, of their governments, of their representatives. That time is over. This election was a mandate against that insanity. We won resoundingly because Americans want common sense back. And it has not been common at all for far too long. And what I love about it is it's happening at the perfect time. The fact that we went through hell, they tried putting my father through hell. I think I'm the most subpoenaed man in the history of America. The last 4 years, the lies about the insurrection. I mean, the first unarmed insurrection in the history of the world. I mean, honestly, if you were going to lead an insurrection in like the most heavily armed country in America, maybe show up with guns, unless, of course, it wasn't an insurrection, which, of course, it wasn't. But they lied about it. They weaponized it against the people. There are still people in prison who haven't had due process, who were marching through velvet ropes, taking selfies. They had no idea. It didn't matter. That ends now. Now, we all know my father won 3 elections because he actually won in 2020, right? No one's pretending.
Yeah, he did.
Do me a favor. Raise your hand if you're still pretending that Joe Biden actually won in 2020. Nothing, right? Yeah, okay. We all know that, and we saw that. Even the Democrats the day after the election. Well, it is a little bit odd that there's this massive spike. You know, it's like, yeah, where are they? Where'd they go? I mean, if Trump is truly the greatest threat to democracy ever, you'd think maybe they'd show up. It's almost like that was a lie, too. But while my father went through hell, and they tried taking away his business, and they tried bankrupting him, and they tried doing the same to myself and my brother, and when that didn't work, they tried jailing him, 750 years. Seems like a long time. My father is a young and vibrant 78, but I guess that's what they needed to do. And it's all
a lot of jump cuts.
Because it was all built on a foundation of lies and garbage. And everyone now knows it. They weaponized every aspect of government. While we may have won in 2020, we didn't assume office.
Yeah, it keeps jump cutting for some reason.
With the knowledge of who's real. With the knowledge of who's loyal. With the knowledge of who can actually fight and deliver. Had we just rolled over the 2016 to 2020 crowd, honestly, I don't know that it would have been a great presidency. I'd love to believe that we do some things. I think we did a great job with 16 to 20, given what we were up against, given that you had the most hostile media ever, given that you had the most hostile Democrat Party ever, given that half the Republicans weren't even on your side. He still did pretty amazing. But those same can kickers, those people who thought that they knew better than the duly elected president of the United States and felt obligated to not follow his orders or the will of the people, but to create their own mandates, they're all gone. And they ain't coming back, folks. In the room, I don't want to choose, and I didn't want to choose, a single person in the cabinet, any of the undersecretaries, any of that. I wanted to make sure
that's like the
bad
5th
guys
jump cut.
Didn't get in, and we did that. And that, to the swamp, to DC, is the scariest thing ever. We have a chance to transform our government once and for all, to function as it was intended, to be of the people, for the people, and by the people. But the only way we do that is if all of you stay involved. You stay in the game. You fight, fight, fight. If you show,
he's not as fiery as Steve Bannon, but good
show
speech.
the same resolve that my father showed on July 13th when he took a bullet to the face but came back defiant, that American spirit, that resolve, that guts, that leadership, that willingness to stay in the game, to fight, to preserve our country, our freedoms for that next generation, if we all have that spirit, it's never going back, because when you look at the people we have in there now, we can create change. You look at what's going on. You look at the way we're able to now expose to the American people. You almost don't have to do anything. You just have to actually show the American people what they're getting for their money. What Elon Musk will be able to do with Doge. When Americans see that they've spent trillions of dollars for nothing on waste, so that a couple rich bureaucrats in D.C. and their buddies on the board of Raytheon can get rich, once they see that, the Ponzi scheme is over, folks. It's gone. Right? You know exactly what they're doing because their playbook is so old. They have nothing. The media has lost all their power because no one's watching anymore. They've been lying to us for so long. They've taken such ridiculous positions that everyone knows exactly what's happening. So now they're trying to do, well, it's really the Elon Musk presidency. They're trying, like, they're arguing like kindergartners. Like, they're trying, like, it's like a childish fight. Like my toddlers, when they were toddlers, used to do that to try to create a rift. And that's not going to happen.
I want to make him House Speaker. Make Elon House Speaker. I think that would be hilarious.
Elon and Vivek with
That's what Rand Paul said.
Bobby Kennedy at HHS. We got to fight hard for Tulsi at DNI because we need people that will handle and take on the intelligence communities. And we have to make sure that the weak, deep state puppet Republicans who still seemingly work for the CIA, despite what the CIA has been trying to do to conservatives for the last 2 decades, hold them accountable. The same way we went after weak Republicans in the Senate who weren't going to confirm Pete Hegseth, like a guy that's won 2 Bronze Stars, a guy that's actually fought in wars, not like the Millies of the world, you know, they have medals. They have medals. It looks like, you know, the lineup of the North Korean dictators and the, you know, everyone, it's like medals, the entire suit. I'm like, you haven't won a war. You haven't won a war. I mean, I know you want to understand what, you know, white rage is all about. And you want to do your videos about prosthetic penile implants for trans soldiers at the VA. You know, I understand where your priorities are, but that's not where the priorities of the American people are. They have medals like this. Eisenhower, who won World War II, has like 2 little things. How about we let the war fighters be back in charge? Seems pretty logical. Seems pretty logical. But I know it also works. Because when my father let the war fighters be in charge the last time, he let the guys on the ground, the door kickers, take on ISIS. And what happened? They were able to kill them. It's sort of nice. I got in trouble it was a couple years ago because I was talking about it. It may have been at Turning Point like a couple of years ago. And I was getting calls from buddies of mine that were in the SEAL teams that were like, hey dude, we're spending more time doing like DEI training than we are like shooting. And I'm like, seems like a bad thing to do. Like I want my like operators to be able to like operate. Let them kill bad guys. That's what, but no, we have to learn the 4,376 pronouns. We have to see how that applies in war and in combat. And people literally went nuts. Like the media was like, that didn't happen, it's not happening. And like 12 buddies that were SEALs like literally came out. We're like, no, it actually is happening and it's a problem. We know this works because of course it works. It's the most plausible answer.
I know a couple.
So we're going to do that and we're going to fix it. Then we're going to hold them accountable on the budget side so that we're not mortgaging all of you young guys in this room and all of you young ladies in this room. Your future isn't going to go down the tubes so that a couple of guys in D.C. can get rich. I've used the example before. Steve talked it about a little bit. We talked about Ukraine for the last 3 years. And to this day, Mitch McConnell will still tell you that Ukraine is the #1 priority for Republicans across the country. And I can assure you it is not. Because just
I don't know
being
a
in this
single
room alone
Republican that
tonight,
supports the war.
I have spoken to more real Republicans than Mitch McConnell has in his 772-year tenure in the United States Senate. But it's not just in this room. For the last 3 years, since the war started, I have spoken in front of over 150,000 people. Not a huge room like this. Sometimes it's 300 people here, 700 people there, 5,000 people there. I have asked the question, is it a top 3 or top 10 issue in every one of those speeches I've given to every person in that room. And out of 150,000 people over 2.5, 3 years, exactly 4 people raised their hands that it was a top 10, possibly top 10 issue for them. No one was top 3. First gentleman, sir, top 10 issue what? Well, I am from the Kiev, Ukraine. I was like, okay, fine, I'm gonna give you a pass. Next guy misunderstood the question. He thought it was a double negative. So he was actually worked at Raytheon. So I was like, okay, well, that's job security, of course. And the other guy was like, well, I worked there for like 15 years, so I'm like a 10 and a half. So basically zero Americans actually thought that it was a top 10 issue. And yet Senate Republicans were still trying to jam that down our throats to the tune of $250 billion. And by the way, that doesn't include the other $260 billion that the Pentagon lost. Just lost it. The same people, the same government that will audit you for a $601 Venmo account transfer can magically lose $250 billion. It's like, no problem, right? The Pentagon will fail 7 audits, doesn't matter. That ends now. But again, while it's easy to sit back and celebrate some of these wins, we can never stop. Don't get lax. Don't let these little wins think that it's over. It's never over. They're not going away. We just have to overwhelm them. We have to keep on the pressure. We have to make sure, again, in D.C., it's not just the Democrats that are our foes. It's a vast majority of the Republicans. And we saw that even today. When we take a resolution, a CR, from 1,500 pages to 150 pages, we get it down, and like 30 House Republicans vote it down because, you know, they didn't get one little thing that they needed, or they needed more pork, or they're trying to comply with the Democrats or give them what they want, or, as we've always seen in D.C., it's just an easy existence to be a weakling Republican. What we're going to do is we're going to give Chuck Schumer all of that power if we don't get these things passed right now. So we need everyone to do what we did over the last few weeks. Call them out. Call their offices. Put on that pressure. Make them feel the pain. I call it, I think Joni Ernst learned this a little bit the hard way. ETP, education through pain. It's a very simple concept. Very simple concept. Like, you know, you touch a hot pot on a stove, it hurts. You don't do it again. Children learn this, right? We need our politicians to understand that too. They've gotten away with it for far too long. And again, we have a mandate from the people. It's been so clear. It's there. People are sick of it. And we can do something about it. We just have to hold them accountable, right? Just because they have the R next to their name doesn't mean anything anymore. Because honestly, guys, The Republican Party of a few years ago is gone. This is now the America First Party. Donald Trump is in charge. And now, for the first time in a long time, we actually have a bench of people that can carry that torch for years. It's why I fought so hard for J.D. Vance. How awesome has he been? For me, it's not about just having Trump and you get 4 years and you go back to the old ways. It's about having people who have the resolve, the stamina, the balls to keep fighting and to never give up. And now we actually have that bench. Now we have an America First Party that can go decades. We have to keep that going. And what's great, the best part of all of it, guys, is the Democrats don't get why they lost yet. They don't understand. It's amazing. I'm looking at the polls.
Yep, they still don't get
Kamala
it. The
Harris
establishment
is
understands, though.
Please, God, make this happen. Remember when I said, like, I think I said it last year, all I want to see is, like, the J.D. Vance, Kamala Harris, like, debate. We could maybe have it happen. It was just going to be for VP and VP. But after the coup, she took over. You know, shockingly, she wasn't the greatest candidate ever, despite what the media tried to say about her in a couple weeks. But the Democrats are literally out there on TV celebrating. Who cares if you can't afford your groceries? 3-year-old children need to be getting gender-affirming care without parental consent. They don't get it. Their disdain for you, for hardworking Americans, is so palpable. The things they have said, the things they have done, the things that had you done, they'd be trying to throw you in the gulags for. It's all been exposed, and they still don't know why. Because they cannot get out of their vacuums. This is that failed for so long.
What is up with all the jump cuts,
dude? I welcome another Kamala Harris run. I welcome the radical policies, the leftist policies that everyone has seen through. I welcome them bringing that to the table again and again. And again, if we stay vigilant, and again, in some places we didn't do as good a job. There's no reason that Trump should do as well right here in Arizona, but we can't get a senator over the line in that same state.
Nah, that Senate election was stolen, hands down. I've looked into it. There's no way. There's some down ballot issues.
And they're just listen to what they've been saying today. That's over. That's clear. We have to make sure we just get every possible seat forever. Okay? I love, because no, it gets harder. Hey, I get it, guys. Without Donald Trump at the top of the ticket, that gets harder. Okay? He's created a movement that hasn't existed in the history, perhaps of politics, certainly in American politics. But we need to keep that going, because if they take over this country, it's over. Now, again, with the team that we have assembled, with what we're going to be able to do, with what we're able to expose, I think we can create a generational shift. We have an opportunity that has never been presented in modern American history to actually fix things, to actually do things that are right and make sense and can win for our people. We have that mandate, but we cannot squander it with apathy. We cannot stop moving forward each and every day. We cannot take any rest. We cannot sit on our laurels. And most importantly, we cannot just sit back and hope that Republicans in office are going to do what they tell you on a daily basis. We saw that today. They know exactly what went on. Everyone saw what happened on November 5th. And yet it doesn't matter to them. And so for those people who aren't willing to get in line and do their job, which is to serve their constituents, we got to start primarying the hell out of these people. There's so much we can do, guys. We can fix our economy. You see it already happening, right? You see what Canada's willing to do on their border simply because Trump threatens tariffs, and what Mexico was doing as it relates to that. Donald Trump's not even president yet, and countries are already capitulating to his policies that are not yet in place because they know what's coming. Strong leadership, guys. Strong leadership is not just good for America, it's good for the world. It's not rocket science. When America, led by Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, did nothing other than exude weakness, our enemies saw it. They capitalized on it. That's the nature of predation. That's a story as old as time. Once Daddy came home, it's a whole different world. It's a whole different attitude. So guys, enjoy it, but stay in the game. We have so much we need to do between now and January 20th. We have to get those cabinet picks in, okay? You see what they're trying to do, you know the playbook. You see what the media is trying to do to break up the relationship that my father has with Elon. They're trying to cause that schism to prevent these guys. So you guys, thank you for everything that you have done. I understand it has been a brutal 4 years. Not just because of those policies, but because of what they've tried to do to all of us, okay? My father isn't just the most resilient man in politics. How many times have they counted him out, right? I mean, when you talk about resilience, in 2015, there's no way he could possibly do anything, and he's going to get 0% in a Republican primary, then he wins. Then he has a 0% chance of getting Hillary Clinton. Then he gets in office, and you impeach him twice, and you put him up against that, and he still wins. And then January 6th happens, and now he's totally out. And then they try to ostracize him to the annals of history, and he comes back. And then XYZ candidate's definitely going to beat Trump in a primary, and he wins that again. He keeps winning because he's willing to fight. He's willing to stay in the game, right? And so many of you guys, because I remember when I first spoke to this crowd, the first equivalent of this for Turning Point, it was like 300 people in a room. And when I look at what's going on right here, it makes me so proud. Because I think Charlie said earlier today that I may be, other than him, maybe the most, I've had the most Turning Point speaking opportunities of anyone around. And it just makes me so proud to see this movement grow, to see the youth vote come out. Because guess what, folks? For all you young people at Turning Point, for that next generation, the fact that you're here right now, it's so critical, it's so important, but we're winning. Think about it. We basically did 50% of the 18 to 29 vote this time around. That could have never been done without Turning Point, without Charlie, and without all of you guys. And when I saw this room 8 years ago, and it was like this section right here, and now I'm looking out, I can't even see the back of the room. It's spectacular. This is what it's all about. And guess what? You guys are that generation. You're the guys gonna get stuck with this. I'm basically old as dirt at this point. Like, I can sit back and do nothing. You guys are gonna inherit these things. So the fact that you're willing to fight for it is so awesome and so fundamentally critical. That's what America was founded on. That's what it's all about. So I want to thank all of you for getting in the game. I want to thank all of you for being unafraid. I'd say very few people understand the consequences of standing up to the nonsense, standing up to the swamp, standing up to big government, standing up to the mainstream media, standing up to the seemingly insurmountable obstacles that they've put up. But you guys did that. So many of you are day one. When I say day one, I don't just mean 2016. I mean also January 7th. The fact that you guys had the guts to stay through all of that is everything to me, and it means that the future of this country is in incredible hands because you are willing to fight like that. So guys, I want to thank all of you for everything that you do. God bless you. God bless Turning Point. God bless the United States of America. And don't ever, ever, ever give up. Fight, 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 fight.
All right. I'm not gonna lie, he was a lot more boring than Steve Bannon. I love Trump Jr., but... Alright, here's some good news. House rejects Johnson's Plan B to prevent shutdown. Here are the 38 Republicans that voted against the House bill. Aaron Bean, Andy Biggs, Josh Breachin, Tim Burchett, Eric Burleson, Kat Kamek, Michael Cloud, Andrew Clyde, Eli Crane, John Curtis, Jeff Duncan, Russ Fulcher, Bob Good, Paul Gosar, Andy Harris, Wesley Hunt, Doug Lamborn, Debbie Lesko, Greg Lopez, Morgan Luttrell, Nancy Mace, Thomas Massey, Tom McCormick, Corey Mills, Alex Mooney, Black Moore, Nathaniel Morin, Ralph Norman, Andy Ogle, Scott Perry, Bill Posey, Matt Rosendale, Chip Roy, David whatever that name is, Keith Self, Victoria Sparks, Tom Tiffany, Beth Van Doon. So there you go. Good news. And here's some other news. Pentagon admits that the number of U.S. troops in Syria is much higher than previously reported, and they basically admitted verbatim that they were lying to reporters about the number of troops in Syria, just like they were lying to Trump during his first term. They have reported that there were 900 U.S. troops in Syria for several months. There's a lot more than that, which I already knew that because I have friends in Syria. So, yeah. Thanks, Pentagon. Thanks for finally being a little transparent. The Pentagon says there are 2,000 troops deployed in Syria, more than double what officials with the Department of Defense have been telling reporters for months. We have been briefing you regularly. Why can't they just not lie to us? Yeah, it's impossible, bro. It's impossible. And it's like, this is something you don't even have to lie about. Like, we already know we got troops there. There's no logical reason to lie that we have 2,000 troops there. Because the logic, like, they don't want their enemies to know how many troops. Well, it's actually dumb to report less troops than you have there. You would want to report more troops. It's just, there's no logic behind lying to us about this. I don't understand it. Like, they lie about things that don't even make sense to lie about. They cannot stop lying. It was explained to me these additional forces are considered temporary rotational forces that deploy to meet shifting mission requirements. Yeah, okay. Whereas that's like the Pentagon during the Kennedy administration saying we just have peacekeeping troops there, bro. That's all. Whereas the core 900 deployers are longer-term deployments. Yeah. He continued, as you know, for many of our deployments, numbers will fluctuate from time to time, but given that this number is significantly higher than what we've been briefing, I wanted to let you know as soon as I found out about this information. Dude, you knew about this information. Ugh, I hate these people. You can't hate pussy generals like this enough. You see all that? You see all that chest candy? He doesn't deserve any of it. Any of it. God, you can't hate them enough. They're political generals, that's all they are. Gone are the days where generals were actually real badass war fighters. Now we have political generals. So yeah, there's good news about Congress and bad news about our Pentagon is still pieces of shit. Cool. I was trying to see if I can find my reaction to it
real quick. Let me tell you one thing real quick.
But I don't feel like shifting through 8.5 hours of a stream, because I haven't gone back to watch my reaction that night. It was a pretty fiery reaction. I was pretty pumped up. But I do want to ask. I want to ask this real quick before I get off for the night. I made this short. Hold up. I made this short when I started my channel months ago.
Meet the spy who helped win the American Revolution.
Okay. I just want to add, because this short has not done well. I reposted it today. The short never does well. This is before I really hadn't decided on what I wanted the channel to be. So I made this history short of the Culper spy ring, the basis from what my channel's named after. Just a quick short. It got 12 likes when I first posted it, 44 views. I want to ask, is it good or bad? It may have been mine.
Meet the spy who helped win the American Revolution. Abraham Woodhull from Setauket, New York, who went by the alias Samuel Culper, was a leading member of the famous Culper spy ring. After his cousin, Brigadier General Nathaniel Woodhull, fell to the British and died in captivity, Abraham's sentiments to the cause began to grow. After getting caught smuggling contraband across the Long Island Sound,
you're one of the two views
Continental Army
today,
Major
then.
Benjamin Talmadge and Washington's intelligence officer.
So is that good or not? Like, give good, like, real criticism. You don't have to say it's good if you don't like it. I'm curious on why this video performs so badly. Because it doesn't, like, I feel like it's decent. It's nothing that grabs the eye. Okay. I like that. I like history, though. Yeah, I guess that's just a lot of people don't like history. I mean, you can only, for a 1-minute clip of the Culper spy ring, it's kind of hard to do anything flashy with American history. People just don't like to listen to American history, bro. They want to hear me talk shit about politicians, I guess. But that's originally, I wanted the channel to be a history channel. But it's really hard to do. Play the whole thing? Okay. I'll restart it.
Meet the spy who helped win the American Revolution. Abraham Woodhull from Setauket, New York, who went by the alias Samuel Culper, was a leading member of the famous Culper spy ring. After his cousin, Brigadier General Nathaniel Woodhull, fell to the British and died in captivity, Abraham's sentiments to the cause began to grow. After getting caught smuggling contraband across the Long Island Sound, Continental Army Major Benjamin Talmadge and Washington's intelligence officer negotiated his release and approached Woodhull to convince him to take up the cause against tyranny. This would lead to one of the most successful spy rings in history. He would then swear loyalty to the crown as cover while collecting intelligence in Manhattan, while staying at his sister's home and boarding house for British officers. He would then give his messages to a carrier that would take the intelligence to various dead drops and would eventually end up in the hands of General Washington. Because of this brave patriot, the colonies were able to defeat the British and secure American independence. Meet the spy who helped win the American Revolution.
The one criticism I have of myself is I have a lisp. So it's really hard to get rid of a lisp in a video, but that's yeah, I made that like 7 months ago. It's kind of dry, to be honest. Okay. I like it. I like the criticism. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to think of what else I could, for something like that. I mean, really, the history is kind of dry. Now, if I would have made it like the show looks good, though, and flows well, okay. I'm trying to think, like, if I would have put in fake history like you have in the show, I don't know if you've seen the show. I'm trying to remember the name of it. I basically put pictures of the show. I can't remember the damn name. Turn. The show Turn. I could have made it a lot flashier, but it would have been fake history. So I think the history itself is like it's not as flashy as people think it is. Forgotten history. I probably have seen it before. Let me look it up real quick. I have so many history podcasts on my page. Okay, no, I don't think I've seen this before. I just subscribed, though. The Fall of Syria, Forgotten History. Okay. Yeah, this channel. I can already tell by the name of this, of his videos, I like him. Does great breakdowns of all crazy stuff. Hell yeah. You see, I would love to do a full-on history podcast. It is incredibly difficult to put together a good historical video. Like, I give these guys so much credit for their ability to make videos like this and do the research. It's the research that really... Because you can't just, like, throw in basic shit because nobody's ever going to watch it. You have to do, like, real-deal research to, like, tell the story. Only Marine vet, I think, that runs it. Oh, that's pretty dope. He served in the Army and Marines. That's what it says here. Old Marine. He was a professor in military history and Holocaust studies. He is the author of many military histories and biographies, and his credits on film, television, and World War II, and military documentaries for Award of Wonder, Newsmax, American Heroes Channel, and the Military Channel, Lucasfilm, holy shit, Columbia Pictures, the History Channel, Smithsonian, NBC, Vulcan Productions, and Luftwaffe. Researcher for Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks' forthcoming historical series, Masters of the Air. That's pretty dope. Yeah, I can't believe I didn't know this guy. But you got to give people like this credit, dude. It is very difficult to make legit history YouTube videos. Like, I've tried, and I think I made one. I made a couple when I first started the channel, and I never posted them. I'm pretty sure I deleted them. Because it's like, you watch it, and it, like you said, dry. Like, that little short I made was dry, but if you're trying to make a 20-minute video, yeah, look at some of his shorts maybe, yeah. Let's see. Because I could tell he's making shorts to go along
Administrator Deanne Criswell
to pull
was
people
grilled
to
by
the video.
Republican lawmakers on her agency's handling of her. On Sunday, December 8th, 2024, 50 years of dictatorial rule ended with Bashar Assad fleeing the country of
He's got a
Syria.
lisp too, I can hear it.
The Biden
Not as bad as
administration
mine.
seemed alarmed about the events, but they should have seen this coming long ago, as did I, your humble correspondent. Intelligence analysts from many nations focused upon the problems in the Middle East, and they knew there was an undercurrent of discontent among the Syrian people, but it extended much farther than that. Why did rebels overthrow the Syrian government? Which groups or group were involved? Was there an external support network for the revolt? What will the new government look like?
I can tell that his shorts are to pull you to a longer form video on the channel, so that's pretty interesting. Which I've tried to do that too with my political videos. Like I said, he's obviously doing pretty good.
FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell was grilled by Republican lawmakers on her agency's handling of hurricane recovery efforts, including the many allegations of political bias.
Yep, that's what every one of his videos are, I can tell.
FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell is currently under fire as the entire agency for failure to provide relief as required. Criswell says the agency is in dire need of more money for their ongoing...
I like it. I like it. Let me see how his videos are doing. How many subs? He's got 500 and... So it's hit or miss. But it's really, dude, it's so difficult. Like, I've had a couple good videos. It is extremely difficult to like catch people's attention. Like, look, Syria, he made this a day ago, and the problem, I can already tell you why it hasn't performed as good as like something like this, because people's time span and like the trending topics. If he would have made this Fall of Syria video the day it happened, he would have got a fuck ton of views on this video. But now that it's been a couple weeks since the Fall of Syria, people's time, like people's attention to it goes away. So YouTube's not even going to throw it into people's algorithm because nobody's interested in the Fall of Syria now. So that's the problem with making videos, is you want to make something as it's happening, and you don't really have time to really make a good video during the time that people's attention's on it. So it's like, dude, it's like it's hit or miss. You can make a damn good video, which I don't make good videos. I mean, my videos are, I don't have a lot of time to put into editing and all that. But I've seen people make really amazing, great produced videos, and they don't do well at all. Like, barely get a couple thousand views. And you're just like, how? Like, there is this channel, I just found out about, and they just quit making videos. Let me see if I can find it. Which I don't know if you're into this kind of thing, but I kind of have a, I kind of like this kind of stuff. So like this. Forging a Viking war axe.
Welcome back to Black Hammer Artisan. Today, we're going to be forging...
So they have the same, like, setup and, like, introductions as, like, a Brandon Herrera, who does extremely well.
An axe, specifically a Viking...
Greatly produced, good music. Oh wait, that shit is cool. Yeah, and they just stopped making videos. And they only had like 1,000 subs, and they put out a video saying they're done making videos, that they don't have time, and the channel's not growing. They put out that video, and then get like 12,000 subs that day on the video that they're saying they're quitting. That's how fucked up the algorithm is. So all of these great videos didn't get anything, but the video saying they're done making YouTube videos popped off. Like, you see how well produced this is? And it only had 2.9 thousand views. Yeah, it is hard.
So I'm getting this
the
here,
repetition
you can see,
is the problem.
Squashed down. I'm gonna punch a hole.
Because you're trying to find a niche. That's why political channels are so much easier to create, because so many people are... It's easier to get like a trending topic day by day. You just go look at the news and like, oh, this is trending, let's make a video on it. This, it's the same thing over and over again, and it's really hard to grow a niche on it.
Through that, and then
but
we're gonna draw the beard out of
these
this.
videos are
I figure probably
Brandon Herrera style.
Maybe two.
It's really dope. I mean, I love their videos.
Okay, I figure that's about enough.
But I think this is where our last video.
Well, hello.
So they made this video announcing that they were done, and they got 107,000 views. How crazy is that?
Hello, and welcome back for the last time to Black Hammer Artisan. As you no doubt saw in the title, this is going to be our last video.
I mean, they're really cool people.
We wanted to say thank you for all of you that have watched and subscribed and liked and all that. And
of course, I said, you two are content creators, and you'll be back, because they said they're not content creators. Gave you a sub. You can be working. You can be a working man and create. It's not easy, but it's doable. Which, that's what I'm a working man, and it's really difficult, dude. And this is my third shot at making content on my third name. I had one channel a long time ago that was banned, and then when it was really bad. And then I had a Twitch channel a while back that was also banned. So then I made Culpercast, and I started this channel earlier this year. But hopefully I don't get banned again. I've been trying really hard not to break any community guidelines, and because my first 2 channels I didn't give a shit. My Twitch channel was video games, and then my other YouTube channel, which was Sacred Clown, which was more comedy, like trolling type stuff. All those videos got banned. Because I was like trolling like transgenders and stuff, and you can't do that. So then I was like, I'm going to be strictly politics, like trending political news, stuff like that. But this is what like, history is what I want it to do. Because I'm fascinated by history, and like geopolitical history, it's where a lot of my knowledge is. But making those videos, dude, power to the people that make historical videos. Like Dan Carlin, there's a couple others I can't think of. Very hard. And now let's go look at the views Brandon Herrera gets. Like I said, these guys that just showed you, that's a niche. Like, there's not a lot of people that are interested in watching people forge swords and shit. But Brandon Herrera's got almost 4 million subscribers. Every one of his videos pops off. The worst internet gun fails, Darwin Awards, 2 weeks ago, 2 million views. He just made this video 3 days ago. The guns in Red Dead Redemption 2, 904,000 views. But I guess it's just the life of being a gun YouTuber. But look, all of his videos are just insanely popular. And that channel I just showed you is as well produced. So it's interesting. But all it takes, like I said, showed you that channel just now, that one video of them saying they're leaving got them 12,000 subs. All it takes is one video to hit the algorithm really well. And next thing you know, you got all these subs. But you're never going to hit the algorithm if you stop making videos. So, I need to get more consistent. I know that. I'm not very consistent. And you have to do shorts now. And I haven't. I was doing good at posting shorts for like a week there, and I need to stick to it, because every channel that I see growing, it's because of shorts right now. But yeah, YouTube's very interesting. I'm trying to think of what else. Oh, do you know who Shadiversity is? Which he's kind of annoys me, because he's like every couple weeks he's talking about quitting YouTube. Which, you know, my channel doesn't do that well, but I'm not going to post a video every week saying I'm quitting. One of those, yeah. Which he has a decent channel, but, and I do understand his reasonings for wanting to quit, because he puts a lot of time and money into his videos. But it's like, dude, you scale back the amount of money you're investing into the videos if you're not making the money back to pay for it. Scale it back, and I guarantee you're going to get views, because he's already built the niche. He has 1.68 million subscribers. You don't have to put that much money into your video if you're not making the money back.
David from Sellsword Arts has made a response video claiming that I've attacked him. Several content creators he was thinking.
Okay, I don't care about that. I want to see a video that he's this is the kind of videos he makes.
Here actually nullifies that problem completely and gives you more options fighting. I find you can present the tip to your opponent much easier. You can actually even get more reach if you.
So basically, he just reviews swords,
which
and
is very quick.
medieval
this is, I think,
stuff.
one of the biggest advantages about a double. Whoa, that was a beautiful move.
This ain't one of his best videos, but I mean, it's really hard to build 1.68 million subscribers on content like this. So it does annoy me when he constantly comes out and talks about how he's not doing well and he thinks he needs to quit. It's like, dude, scale back the operation. This is like Tim Pool coming on his show crying about his company being too big. It's like, bro, you got millions of dollars. You built something that people like me would kill for. Like, if I ever blew up, let's say I blow up. Yeah, that was odd from him. I think he's narcissistic. But I'm not gonna get too much into Tim Pool because I've been watching his show from day one, but I really hated the way he treated his employees. Yeah, that's exactly what he was doing. He was trying to scare them. And he ended up getting rid of a couple. He got rid of Hannah Claire, and now she's over at Quartercast, which I love the quartering as well. I think she's better off with him because you could tell watching the show that Hannah Claire annoyed him because Hannah Claire actually is decently intelligent. And something about Tim, he doesn't like people on the show that are at the same level of intelligence or more intelligent than him. Because he doesn't get that. Yeah, he fired her. I think they tried to make it look amicable, like she left on her own accord, but she was literally off the show right after that breakdown show. So, and he was talking about getting rid of employees during that show, so put two and two together. And she hasn't really gone into detail about what happened, but you could tell by the way she talks that it wasn't just her walking away. Yeah, I do too. I watch Tim Pool every day, except for today I didn't watch him because I was sleeping during this show. But I've been watching him every day since the Adam days. You remember back when they first started, they would put on the MAGA hat if they got enough likes or whatever. I've been watching him ever since then. And look at the way it went down with Adam. It's very... So, there comes a point in time... That's when I started watching too. Yeah, that's pretty odd. During the COVID lockdowns. Yep, when they first started the channel. But think about it. How many employees has Tim had very serious issues with that ends up the employee walking away or being fired? And they split up in a very dramatic way. Like, it's been 3 or 4 times now. So there comes a point when it's like there is some type of... There's a repeating theme here. I'm not going to say, like, Tim Pool is a bad guy, but he obviously doesn't get along with all of his employees very well. Now, I would say, I mean, if Tim Pool offered me money to work for him, I'd probably do it. But then again, seeing the way it ends up with him, I don't know if I would sign a contract with him. Not saying like I'm anything to sign a contract with Tim Pool, but now what I would like to work for the quartering though, because he seems like very laid back. Because Hannah Claire signed a contract with him, Melanie Mack signed a contract with him. I think Luke Rudkowski has signed a co-host contract with the quartering. Styx Exenhammer has signed a contract co-host with them. So the quartering's growing right now. And what's funny is he's sniping people from Tim Pool. So when Tim Pool pushes an employee out the company, they go to the quartering, apparently. Now, I think Luke and Tim are still on good terms. They're not... He's just like a recurring co-host. But yeah, Hannah Claire did not leave the company in a good way. It's very obvious by the way she talks. Luke was on there today? Yeah, he was on Tim Pool today. They were at Amfest, weren't they? I think I had that pulled up. Because I was going to watch that. Yep, here it is. Yep, he was on there. That's why he wasn't on the quartering today. That's right. Well, he goes on the quartering on Fridays, and they said he wasn't going to be there because of Amfest. I'm probably going to watch that when I get off here. But look, listen, I like Tim Pool. Tim has created a damn good show. Like I said, you and I have both been watching it from the beginning and seen how great it's gotten. I just really wish I would stop seeing so many of these moments where employees leave in a negative way. It's kind of like, I like Steven Crowder as well, but look how many employees have left him in a negative way. There seems to be some conflict that goes on in these companies. And I've stopped watching Steven Crowder as much as I used to because he hasn't gotten much better since some of these splits. But maybe it is them. Maybe the employees really are bad. I don't know. I don't think Adam... What I think happened with Adam was pushing back against Tim a lot on the show. And I think when the MAGA thing really popped off, Tim did not want his show. This was before Tim went full MAGA years ago. I don't think Tim wanted his show to be this MAGA jerk-off fest. And he was like, you gotta go. Because the show was starting to be, like, all the fans were starting to be all for Adam and the MAGA stuff. And I think Tim was not happy about that. I think that's where a little bit of the narcissistic part comes in. Where it's Timcast. But, I mean, he has a right. He has a right. It's called Timcast IRL. I mean, he has a right to want to be the center of the show. So, when Adam really started popping off on the show, I think that's what ruined that relationship. But it's sad that it had to end the way it ended. And, you know, I think also Lydia was a cancer on the show. I never liked Lydia. I still don't like Lydia, and she disappeared into obscurity, thank God. I think she was a problem. I think she was part of what broke Tim and Adam up. Because Lydia and Adam hated each other, which was very obvious on the show from day one. I love talking about Timcast drama. How do you feel about the supposed selling to Daily Wire? I don't think it's real, but the problem is Tim is so bad at addressing things. Shouldn't do it? Yeah, I agree. I don't think he's going to do it. Here's what I think. I think there may have been some talks of doing it, and Tim wanted to know. Tim probably purposely put the rumor out there to see the reaction to it. I don't think so either. Yeah, I don't. I think that maybe there was some type of talks with Daily Wire, and Tim floated it. And seeing how bad the reaction is, I don't think it's going to happen. Just like Trump floating nomination picks to see how MAGA reacts. Because I can tell that Tim can't handle the operation side of the company anymore. And it looks like he's trying to find some way to deal with that. But selling to the Daily Wire is definitely not the way. They're just... The Daily Wire is going under as far as popularity within the right. He wants their structure, yep. I think so too. Because what he's done... and there's good and bad things. He's built this laid-back style company. Like, the company was all about skateboarding and having fun and, you know, Chicken City and building a skate park, and it's like all this laid-back shit. The problem with that is it attracts people who aren't very structured. It attracts people who are looking for that laid-back company, when in reality, you can't run a company that way. It's not going to last. Because eventually, you need structure. And I think that's what he's dealing with. So that's why I think he's gotten rid of a lot of people who are not understanding the fact that they're a company. And there's just certain things you can't do in a company. Which is why I've always understood when he got pissed off when somebody would say something they're not supposed to on the show and he ended the show. I think he's handled it pretty bad at some points, but I understand, like, when you tell people this is what you can and can't do and they do it anyway. Like Laura Loomer. She comes on the show and says something that could tank his entire company. It's like, you got to have that structure, man. That's just a reality of the world we live in. But Tim does get very angry sometimes. And it's like, I think he's gotten better in recent months. But there was a point in time when he could not control his anger. But he is the owner of a large company now. And I think he's overextended himself. I think that's the core of the issue. There's only so much time in the day, dude. Like, I'm doing this little bitty tiny channel, and I can barely handle it. Because I'm working, I'm trying to finish school, I got all this other stuff going on. And, like, even just this little channel of making just a little bit of content, it's like, it's not easy, dude. It's like, not saying it's hard. It's not hard in the work itself. It's not hard. It's the being consistent and the editing and putting stuff out there and the tech part of it. I mean, my computer's going out on me twice now since I started this channel. It's because, weirdly enough, the editing software of editing videos is actually pretty, puts a lot of strain on your PC. Like, you can hear when I'm in DaVinci Resolve, you can hear the fans just speeding up. So it's crazy how much editing software really is a strain on your equipment. But I'm speaking like I'm this big YouTuber. I really don't know anything. I barely know how to create content. Like, I'm winging it, dude. Like, winging it big time. But I've watched so much YouTube. I've watched so many of these guys for so many years now. I feel like I can at least make a little bit. And at least I'm finally out of the algo hell. I mean, I was stuck at like just 100 subs for most of the channel's existence. But all right, I think I'm done. It's 1:30. Can't think of anything else keeping me here, at least. Yeah, I mean, dude, at least I got one consistent guy I can talk to every time I'm on here. You're gonna keep my channel alive. But I'm not gonna be one of those guys that comes out as like, I'm not making anything, I quit. Like, if I can't handle it anymore, I'm just gonna disappear. But as long as I can handle it, I'm gonna keep trying. Like I said, it only takes one video to really put your channel somewhere. At least tell me. Yeah, I'll tell you. I think I got you on Twitter. But I'll probably put a post on YouTube if something... The only way I would leave is something like drastic in my life happens and I have to go. But so far, it's not that difficult just to get on here and talk. I mean, that's all this is. Because, like, the reading and watching the news is something I will be doing anyway. So why not turn the camera on and do it that way? Because if I wasn't on here, I was going to be reading and watching the shit anyway. That's all you need to do. Yep. It doesn't take much. But alright, dude. I'm gonna hop off here. I'm not even gonna tell you I'm gonna try to stream twice tomorrow because I said that last night. Don't worry about the shorts and shit, just go live. Yeah, I think you're probably right. Good night, man. I'm a go now. We'll see how tomorrow works out. I don't know how it's gonna work out yet, but I got some stuff going on. But thanks for coming here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.